Good evening, everyone. My name is Mitchell Sturm, and welcome to my TED Talk. No, but seriously, welcome. We are here to talk about something that's very important. It's coming into the limelight very more recently in the recent years. A lot more people are learning about it, but a lot of people don't know what you can do, and that is the evils of overfishing. What is overfishing exactly? Like maybe you don't know what this is. It's been talked about more and more, especially amongst the younger people. Um, well, overfishing is the actual process of catching more fish than what is reproduced. So something that's clearly not sustainable. It's absolutely destroying the biodiversity of the ocean. And it's very sad. It's reducing the populations of different fish and sea creatures astronomically. Um, there's different modes of fishing that these fishing places are using. They're using different kinds of nets. The worst of those being trawling nets. It's just destroying the seafloor, the seabed, absolutely just annihilating the biodiversity of our ocean. These fisheries get these things called subsidies, which allow them to pretty much make money when they can't fish, because of course there's a lack of fish in the ocean. But that allows them to send out these massive fleets to go out into the ocean and just start annihilating the biodiversity of the planet. Um, and then, of course, we have the unsustainable fishing practices, which ties into those massive fishing fleets. We can't talk about overfishing without talking about bycatch. What is bycatch? Bycatch is the process of being caught um, in these nets, of a fish being caught in nets of what they're not fishing for. So let's say a fleet or a boat is out there to catch tuna, right? And they catch some sharks. Well, they're not trying to catch the sharks, so that would be considered bycatch. And unfortunately, a lot of the bycatch that gets brought up due to these massive nets. Obviously, the bigger the net, the more chance of you catching everything, especially with the trawling nets. That's just the reality of it. And you get these, and of course, like you pull up all these different types of different species, especially all these endangered species, all of these species with large population decline, whether they're endangered or just or on their way to being there, threatened. Um, these species just get brought up, and a lot of these species can't survive the trauma of being caught in a trawling net. So they end up being on the boat, and a lot of these fisheries will actually end up either harvesting what they're not supposed to, if especially if the fish is illegal to catch, such as sharks, or they just go ahead and they just toss it back into the ocean, but the animal's still dead. So the question becomes, what can you do? One of the biggest things you can do, which is super easy, is actually contact your senator. Sites like Congress.gov and make it really easy to find your senator, find your congressman, congresswoman, and send them a message. You can send them a message right on their website. You can give them a call. You can send them an email. A lot of times their constituents will get back with you. Sometimes they'll actually get back with you, depending on the issue, and they want to hear from you. The more that they hear and the more that they get, they'll go ahead and actually put those what's going on and try to put it into their policy agenda. We have Deanne Feinstein back in 2021 introduced S906. It was the DriftNet Modernization and Bycatch Reduction Act. Unfortunately, this act, which was supposed to reduce the amount of bycatch in United States waters by changing up how drift nets can be used, was vetoed by the former president Donald J. Trump. However, though, Senator Feinstein is back, and she introduced the bill S273, the DriftNet Modernization and Bycatch Reduction Act. Sound familiar? And that actually got passed by the Senate. So that's awesome. That was fantastic. So it's well on its way to making it back through Congress, and we'll see where it goes. Another thing you can do, and is if you got a little bit of money or whatever, or you like wearing cool t-shirts, you like wearing sweatshirts, you like wearing stuff, is you can donate, right? Donating is one of the best ways. And there's an awesome organization out there that helps fight this directly. They are out there, and their name is the Sea Shepherds Conservation Society. I love these guys. I remember watching them when I was younger in whale wars, fighting commercialized fishing, when they were actually trying to just strictly fish for whales, and they're not supposed to. They're an awesome organization that is out there, and just they go on missions and they work with governments to actually pretty much be the vigilante of the ocean, because the oceans can't be patrolled. A lot of that's something that's an issue in NATO, is that a lot of these areas are not, excuse me, not NATO, but in the United Nations, is that like no one can decide on who's supposed to be patrolling these oceans to actually protect these areas. So Sea Shepherds have developed a large, giant organization that is worldwide, they're headquartered, I believe, in the United States, but actually have separate entities throughout each country in the world, and fight. They quite literally fight the fishing ships. As you can see, this beautiful ship, its name was the Steve Irwin, it was recently retired, rams into this fishing vessel, which I can only assume was somewhere probably in the Atlantic or the Indian Ocean, probably the Western Pacific. And so it's absolutely monstrous organization. And it's really cool. They got really cool t-shirts. They got really cool sweatshirts, beanies, anything you can think of. All profits go towards the act of being able to fund the volunteers and the fund the building of the ships and the fund of, and all of that good stuff. They're an awesome organization, and I highly recommend checking them out. Of course, you can't go anywhere about this without asking, what can you do today, right? Like, if you cannot donate, you don't feel like messaging your senator, just stop eating commercialized seafood. Don't go to, next time you go to the store, don't buy that salmon, which is probably farm fed and is full of disease anyway. Um, so, or don't buy that tuna, which is probably on the brink of extinction. I mean, like it's just that simple. Just don't do it. What is the most sustainable fishing practice? Not eating it. I'm not saying now. I'm not saying don't stop eating. I stop eating fish, right? There is a sustainable way. And a lot of people say, okay, well, you see the blue dolphin, right? They don't have bycatch. You see the whatever. That's not true, because there's no one out there actually being able to say, hey, no, that ship did not have any bycatch. It's just a label to put on a thing, and anyone can do it. There's no regulation behind it. So, so you ask, what's the most sustainable thing that you can do? The most sustainable thing that you can do is, if you want to continue eating fish, is fish for yourself, right? I mean, we follow laws. There's game wardens, environmental conservation officers that patrol the beaches frequently. I mean, they're not going to catch everybody, but I mean, as a civilian, if you're out there and you see someone doing the wrong thing, you should be calling NCON. You should be calling game wardens. Let them know that there's someone that is not fishing correctly. There's someone that is definitely caught way too much and they're way over their creel limit. Whatever that may be, just contact them. Help be a service for them, and they will help work for you. And with that being said, no one will overfish. There's restrictions that are on these fish for a reason, and you go in, you catch what you want, catch what you need, if you even catch anything that day, which is part of the game, right? And there you go. You got true sustainability when it comes to fishing. The idea that not everyone's going to do it is part of that. It does require work, it does require practice, it does require some skill. I mean, like, yeah, a lot of people do it for fun and stuff like that, which is great. But just do it smart, do it reliably, and because it's really important for our environment and the biodiversity of our oceans, which pretty much make up most of the biodiversity of the planet. Alongside with, of course, a bunch of other land animals. And of course, just for you to take a believe, just so that way I'm not lying to you. These are the references that I used specifically from the Congress.gov and the reference that I use from the Sea Shepherds. A lot of the other information that I got has just been from watching these guys growing up, or of course, just through different classes from Unity University or Unity College, excuse me, or different documentaries on different streaming services. Which if you leave a comment and ask which ones, I'll be more than happy to share. But thank you, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.